Greetings, I'm Demonac, and it's Arena time. And this is going to be my first run in Hearthstone's new expansion, Whispers of the Old Gods. And in case there might be any new people joining, I'm going to try and explain a little bit more what I'm doing. I always try and explain what I'm doing and why, but got to give a little bit more just so people can get into the deal. So first off, I play Arena, which is it's a limited format. So when you start an Arena run, you are going to make a deck. Normally it doesn't take this long to load. It's just being a jerk right now. But you are going to build a deck by making a whole bunch of choices in a row. You're going to use that deck for one Arena run until you lose 3 games, or theoretically, if you win 12, then you won the biggest prize and it ends your run. So you're picking your deck from limited resources and for a limited time, and it's always giving you 3 choices. First, it gives you 3 choices. That's three of the classes out of the 9 in the game. They all have different abilities. I'm going to go Priest.
I won't let you down.
Your Priest's basic ability, like every turn, once per turn, if you choose, you can spend 2 mana to heal yourself or a minion for 2, which is pretty handy. Anyway, I'm going to go through, and then I get 30 of these rows, which they'll have 3 cards that are the same rarity. You're guaranteed like 4 rares, and then other than that, most of them will be common, but you can get more extra rares, epics, etc. And basically, I'm going to try and choose a bunch of cards that I hope will work together as a deck against other people who are doing the same thing. Now, the first row here, Shadow Form is a pretty fancy. This is a spell. You cast it, and in this particular case, it's a pretty strange and powerful spell because it changes my hero ability from heal 2 to deal 2 damage, which is a stronger ability, but a lot of the stuff that the Priest is going to have, often you have pretty good synergy with your healing ability, and with this, you can't turn this off. Once you cast this, your healing ability is gone and replaced with the deal 2 damage one, which again is a very good ability. If you cast Shadow Form a second time, if you had 2 of them in your deck, it bumps up to 3 damage, which is craziness, but it's a little bit too not complicated, but it's a little bit too fancy a play for me to go with a deck where I don't know what's going to be in the deck. I'm going to have 30 cards. I don't know what any of them are yet, except this row. Cyclopean Horror here is pretty straightforward minion. You pay 4, that's the casting cost up there. He's got 3 attack and 3 hit points. Hit points don't heal between rounds. If you're used to Magic the Gathering or something where our minions are always like heal to full, no. The damage persists in Hearthstone. Heal it with my class ability. Now this guy has Taunt as a special ability, which means if I have any Taunt minions and my opponent wants to attack, they can only attack the Taunt minions until the Taunt minions are all dead, and then they can attack whatever they want, my minions or my face. And then it has Battle Cry, so that's an ability that triggers when it comes into play. In this case, when it comes into play, it gets +1 health for each enemy minion, so its maximum and current hit points would go up. If my opponent had 2 minions, this would come in as 3 attack and 5 health, which is a decent size for that mana. If they had more than 2 minions, it'll come in at a pretty good size for the mana, but I'm not too interested in that. This guy I'm more interested in. He's 3 attack, 2 hit points for 2 mana, which is pretty good. A lot of times you need some minions about that size, so you have something to play in the early turns. But later in the game, if I have a minion out, this guy's Battle Cry, like say this guy was sitting there, when he already in play, and then I play the Recombobulator, his ability chooses a friendly minion, like I have to pick one if I have any other minions, and transforms it into a random minion with the same cost. So if I had this guy, and say this guy was beat up, he was down to his last hit point, doesn't matter, I cast the Recombobulator, and this would be removed and replaced with any random minion who costs 4, which would come in at full health. And that's pretty cool, especially there are a lot of times when that's really useful. I'm going to take this guy because I like him, and he's interesting. Mostly, though, I think he's good. Oh my god, what is going on with my client here? Faster. Okay. So this row, we have some bigger things to choose from. Hearthstone goes up to 10 mana. You have 1 mana at the start, and you gain 1 every turn. So by turn 10, you will have 10 mana. But that means there's a long time when you won't be able to cast a 10 mana thing. These guys are 5 and 6. Take a while to get up to that. Wind Fury Harpy here has Wind Fury, which means it can attack twice per turn, which is good. It means if I'm hitting my opponent in the face, this does 8 damage, which is a lot for a creature for 6 mana. But if you're using the Wind Fury to like beat up other minions, like when this attacks the Recombobulator, which is a 3/2. Oh my god, why is my client going so slow? He's a 3/2. So if the Harpy attacks him, they'll do damage to each other. So my Harpy would take 3 damage and kill him. It would obliterate him. But then it would only have 2 hit points left. So you can't use the Wind Fury to attack a lot of enemy minions unless it's getting healed in between. This guy just has a huge attack for his casting cost. He also has a keyword. It's a pirate. So some cards might reference pirates. This is a dragon. There are a bunch of cards that might reference dragons. This guy, 6/4. You notice he costs more than this guy, and actually it has slightly smaller stats. His ability, though, is he costs 1 less for every minion that died on my turn. So if I have some fight, if I have a Harpy out and it goes and kills the Recombobulator, that's 1. And then I use it to kill my opponent's Salty Dog, they both die at that point. But that's 3 minions have died, so this guy would only cost 3 to put out. Kind of neat. I'm going to take the Harpy, actually. I like minions that have more hit points as a priest. That's still not a lot of hit points for 6 mana. You'll have to... One thing is you're going to have to play the arena a bunch, or watch a bunch of someone playing the arena, and get a feeling for what size of minions are good. Anyway, I'm going to go a little faster from now on. That's most of the basics. I'll explain more when we're playing. So this guy I don't like. He can attack twice, but like I mentioned, his hit points don't go very far if he's hitting other minions, so he's really not that good unless you have a way to buff him. If you could increase his hit points and damage, then getting to attack twice would be very valuable. I'm probably not going to. It's not worth the effort for his case. These two guys both have 2/3 for 2 is good stats for an early game minion. His advantage is his attack goes up permanently whenever your opponent casts a spell. Whereas he's stealth, so until he attacks, no one can target him with stuff. Well, your opponent can't target him with stuff. I could actually target him. If I had a spell that buffed him, I could cast that. They're both pretty solid for early in the game. I'm going to take this guy, because it's just hard for anything to happen to him before I can choose to attack with him. This guy I don't find very effective for their casting cost, even though he sounds good, because he gives all your other minions +1 attack as long as he's alive. But his stats are not good for the cost. This guy is a mech. There weren't a lot of mechs in the new expansion. That's one thing. The new expansion is out, Whispers of the Void. I haven't had any of the new cards yet. All the old cards are still in, apparently. So the arena just has a bigger and bigger pool of cards. And that means combos like he gives a bonus to another mech when he comes into play. That's getting, in most cases, a little bit harder to do, or harder to do reliably in the arena, because the card pool keeps getting bigger. There weren't that many new mechs. This guy's ability boosts weapons. If he's taken any damage, like one damage or 5, it's the same. And rage just triggers once. But if he has any damage, then he'd be giving my weapon +2 attack. Priests don't get weapons, as a rule, so that's probably not too useful, although I like his stats. I think we'll just take the Clockwork Knight. He might work out better. Another Spiteful Smith. Mind Blast just does 5 damage to the enemy hero. It's very inexpensive for that much damage. But I don't like this card too much because it can't help control the board. On the other hand, you can use it to sort of finish someone off, which is good. I'll take the Argent Squire. Why not? It's a 1/1, but Divine Shield means it comes into play with a shield. The first attack that hits it, whether it's 1 damage or 10 damage, just takes out the shield. So this guy is actually a little bit more survivable than it looks. If you buff it, it's good. So this guy has good stats if you have a dragon in your hand when you cast it, otherwise it doesn't. Again, Battlecry is just when you cast it, so it doesn't matter if you play the dragon from your hand afterwards, or if you play it without a dragon and then you pick up a dragon, that's too late, it's just a 2/4. Dark Cultist is really good though. He has a Death Rattle, which is an ability that triggers when he dies, and it gives if I have any other minions alive, he will give one of them +3 health, which is a lot of health. And his stats 3/4 for 3 is actually very good. It works out nicely. Okay, so this guy has 2/3 taunt. When he dies, I get a 2/2. That's not horrible in the arena, but he's not really that great. This is a card that will just blow up any enemy minion, but it's fairly expensive, but it will blow them up without triggering a Death Rattle. So, like, I could, because it's not actually destroying him, it's taking him out of play and shuffling him into a deck. So, I could get rid of this guy and not give my opponent his Death Rattle 2/2 slime. This also, it puts the minion in my deck, actually, which is kind of interesting, not usually a big deal. Being able to blow up any minion, no matter how big, is excellent, but I'm going to take the Northstar Cleric. because whenever any minion is healed by anyone, but probably me, I get to draw a card. And if you know card games, drawing cards is usually power. Resurrect will take any random minion, any random friendly minion that has died this game. It'll pick one of them and put it into play. For cheap, like late in the game, that's not very expensive. If I got like my Wind Fury Harpy or Clockwork Knight, that would be a great deal. But it can also get the little junk and it's random. I don't like it that much, even though it probably is good. This guy, if you have a lot of small cards, he can be kind of scary because his stats are not good. 2/2 for 3. But whenever you play any card, a minion, a spell, anything, he gets +1/+1. It keeps building up. So if he lives long enough that you cast 2 or more spells, he's actually a very good deal. And I'm not counting on that to work out. I'm gonna take the Soul Priest here. 3/5 for 4. It's kind of like that Shadow form spell that I passed up in the first row, because she doesn't change my hero ability. My hero ability will still be healing, but as long as she's in play, as long as she's alive, anything I do that does healing does damage instead, which means I could temporarily use my ability to do 2 damage to an enemy. I just have to remember that it's doing that and not try and heal one of my own guys and kill them. But she's actually quite good. She's a decent-sized minion. She gives you that, and is not permanent, so when she dies, you can go back to healing, which is usually good at some point. This guy 3/3 for 3 is okay. If your opponent has 4 or more minions, he steals control of one, which is incredibly valuable, even though it's random. But it doesn't come up that often unless your opponent's minions are very small, which is how they got out so many of them. Usually you're trying to kill all your opponent's minions. This guy, 2/4, if I had a secret, this is the kind of spell that you play, and your opponent knows that you have a secret, but they don't know what it is. And they don't know what, it's going to be triggered by something they do, they don't know what. I'm not going to worry about that right now, because I'm a priest, I don't have secrets. So we're going to take the Crazed Alchemist. 2/2 for 2, but his battle cry, he switches the attack and defense of an enemy minion. So if I had a 2/2 in play like him, my opponent had the Illuminator and I wanted to kill her, I could play the Alchemist and switch her to 4 attack and 2 hit points, and then a 2/2 minion of mine could attack her and they both die. Whereas normally if she has 2 attack and 4 hit points, I attack her with a 2/2, she just takes some damage and kills mine and she's still around. Anyway, he's interesting. Deathlord has huge stats for his casting cost and taunt. You don't want to overvalue taunt, but it is good to have some taunt in your deck to help protect your other minions and you from getting rushed down. He has immense stats for his 3 mana, but when he dies, your opponent gets a random minion from their deck put into play, which can be terrible. If they get something small, it's fine, there's a good deal. But if they get something big, you could be screwed. This guy hates secrets. I was mentioning secrets. If your opponent has a secret, he destroys like all their secrets, and then he gets +1/+1 for any secret he blew up. If he gets at least 1 secret, he got crazy value, but I'm not going to take him because I don't know, because only 3 of the classes have secrets, I guess, and I don't know, whatever. I don't like hosers like that. We take Shadow Madness, which is a spell. It temporarily gives me control of an enemy minion with 3 attack or less, and I can attack with them right away. Which often, it depends how it works out, but it often lets me steal one of their things and use it to kill one of their other things, or like kill 2 of their minions. Plus, sometimes you can do weird tricks with it. This is a 1/1 for 0. It's nice, like free cards are awesome in many ways, but I don't want a whole card in my deck to just give me a 1/1 with no abilities. That's not worth it for me usually. This guy, when you play him, he discovers something. Discover his mechanic work just kind of like the arena here. It'll give you a choice of 3 things. In his case, it would give me a choice of 3 random cards that have Death Rattle. I get to pick one of them and put it in my hand. So it's very nice, the flexibility. Because if you get him later in the game, you can take something big and expensive. If you get him earlier in the game, you take something, whatever seems best at the time. Or you can still take something expensive if you think, oh, I'll be okay until I get then. And then it'll be awesome. Now I'm going to take the Holy Champion, because she's a beast. She's not technically a beast, that's a creature type, but she's beastly because she's 3/5 for 4 is pretty good stats. Whenever any character is healed, she gets +2 attack. I can heal things, and that adds up really fast. After 1 heal, she's already a good deal. And if more than 1 heal goes off, she can become huge. This guy got nerfed recently. He used to have 2 attack. He was too good, now he only has 1 attack. I didn't like him that much with 2 attack, so I don't care about him. This guy, if I had secrets in my deck, then when he dies, he goes through your deck and puts one into play at random. He's amazing if you have secrets. I don't. So we're going to take the Voodoo Doctor, who's pretty straightforward. Yeah, 2-1 is okay stats for 1 mana, and he can heal anything for 2 when he comes into play. Could work out well. If I have my Northstar Cleric, I could draw a card from that, and then still use my ability and draw a card. 1/4 for 3 that can attack twice. It's not very good unless you've got a way to buff him, which I don't care about. These Brewmasters are interesting. There's a smaller guy who works like him. Basically, he's got okay stats for his cost. When he comes into play, you have to return a friendly minion to your hand, unless you don't have one. If I don't have anything out, I can just play him as normal, which is fine. But if I do have one out, say this guy has a battle cry, right? When he comes into play, he gives a friendly minion +3 health. I could then attack with him later, and then he's damaged. Then I could play a Brewmaster, return him in my hand. So yes, I would have to cast him again. It would still cost us 6 mana, which is a fair amount. But when I played him again, he'd come back at full health, and he'd get to use his battle cry again. So he could give something else +3 health, like the panda. So the panda is pretty interesting. Depends what kind of guys you have. I don't have a lot of like battle cry stuff that I care about. I actually have a number of them. But I think I might take the Temple Enforcer because I don't have enough big minions yet. Okay, this guy, he has okay stats. He deals 3 damage randomly split between all other characters. He can shoot me in the face 3 times, or he could kill some of my minions, or he could do damage purely to the opponent's stuff and be awesome. I don't like randomness like that. This guy has randomness, but it's when he dies, he summons me a random 2-cost minion. Well, that's kind of randomness I can deal with, because it's giving me something that makes him a good deal. Almost any 2-cost minion will make this a good deal. So he's good that way. I think, though, I might take this Velen's Chosen card. This just gives a minion +2/+4, which is a fair amount of stats. It's okay stats for 3 mana. It also gives a minion spell damage +1. I don't have any damaging spells yet, but technically, while that minion was alive, it would add 1 damage to any damaging spells I cast. It's just really nice to have this ability to give out right away. On the other hand, like, because I don't have a lot of other buffs. I have none right now. On the other hand, this guy's really good for the cost. I maybe should just take him. I'll just take him. So this guy heals me and my opponent each 4 health when he comes into play, which is okay if you're getting rushed down or something. Like if your deck's not very aggressive and your opponent's is, this is probably beneficial to you and not them, but I don't like him. This guy is weird. Because 5/5 for when his attack is always equal to his health. So he comes out, he's a 5/5 for 4, which seems big, but if he takes a couple points of damage, now he's like much smaller. Like his attack keeps going down as his health goes down. If I had that other spell to give him +2/+4, it would actually just give him 4 hit points, and then his attack is always equal to his health. So he'd be a 9/9, which is pretty good. I can heal him if he takes some damage. I'm going to take a chance on him, even though he'll probably work out badly. Could get another one of these guys. This guy damages an opponent's weapon when he comes into play. Most weapons have 2 or 3 uses. He knocks 1 use off their weapon, so he might actually just destroy their weapon, or at the very least, they'll get to use it less. But he's not that exciting. I'm going to take this Defender of Argus. He's a 2/3 for 4, which is not good, obviously, on his own, but when he comes into play, he will give adjacent minions, like the minions on either side of him, assuming I have minions, and he'll give each of them +1/+1 in taunt. So if I have 2 other minions and I play him between them, he'll be giving each of them +1/+1 in taunt. That's pretty valuable. Tentacle, when it dies, it deals 1 damage to all their minions. That's okay. If you were playing with Spiteful Smith, you could use something like this. You play him, and then you attack with this. It dies. He takes 1 damage. Now he's enraged. Again, I don't have weapons to use this thing, so this is a much better minion for me. This guy does just heal anything for free when he comes for 3 when he comes into play, which is pretty good. But I'm going to take the Dark Cultist because he's amazing. The Raptor is too much. Okay, this is an epic card in this row, which is actually a bonus one. Sometimes you just get bonus cards of a higher rarity just by luck. This one not that exciting. It's a 2/1 for 1. It deals 3 damage to you and your opponent when it comes into play. So if you're trying to rush down your opponent, if you're confident that you're going to be ahead of your opponent in terms of doing damage fast, then this could work out for you. She's a little expensive for her cost, but when she comes into play, if there are any enemy minions with 2 or less attack, I can pick one of them and steal it, which is pretty good. This guy costs 12 mana. You know, you probably don't remember, but I said you only get up to 10 mana in this game. His thing, though, is he costs 1 less for each other card in your hand. So if you have 4 cards in your hand, he costs 8, which is about what he's worth. And if you have more than 4 cards, then he becomes cheaper. There are a lot of decks that make very good use of him. He's considered a good card. I don't care for him, especially in the arena, so I'm going to take the Priest. We have a 7/7. This guy can only attack if he's the only minion alive. If I have any other minions, he can't attack. If my opponent has any minions, he can't attack. It's probably not going to help me out that much. This guy, 5/6, he has a whole bunch of text, but is what we usually describe as a jousting ability, where when he comes into play, it'll reveal a card from my deck and a card from my opponent's deck. It'll pick minions as long as people each have one. And if mine, like the person playing the card, costs more than my opponent's, then I get some special bonus. In his case, he'd get Taunt and Divine Shield. He's actually pretty good, even though I don't really like him. I think I might take this mech that's 2/5 Taunt, which is iffy, but he can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. That means I can't heal him, but it means my opponent can't blast him with spells and stuff. That's pretty good. And it would help to have some mechs, like the Piloted Shredder, because if I have a mech in play when I play the Clockwork Knight, then he gives it a bonus. This guy gets a bonus if I have other mechs. I'm not going to have enough to make it worth trying to play with him. He's a little tiny, crappy weenie without a mech. With a mech, he's kind of annoying. This guy is a decent size, and then he becomes big if you have a couple other minions in play, because he gets +1/+1 for every other minion you have when you play him. This guy is a 2/1, but he also gives you an extra 1/1 when you play him, so he's a pretty good value for that mana. Do I want the more rushy sort of thing, or do I want this guy to be fatter for later? I think my deck's going more like fatter in the mid-game, which is what he is. This guy has a drawback that when he dies, he heals my opponent for 5. There are ways you could mess with that. Like if that happened while I have out my Alkanite Soul Priest, my opponent would actually take 5 damage, which is awesome because this guy's big for his 1 mana. But I'm going to take the Northstar Cleric to try and draw more cards. Get another Holy Champion. They're really, really good. On the other hand, this guy, 3/4 Taunt and a mech, and he has Divine Shield. He works out to be pretty good. This guy's pretty junky. This is a 1/5 for 3. He's not very exciting. These are both really good. I don't have that much stuff that cares about mechs, so I don't think I'm going to worry too much about that. I think I'm just going to take another Holy Champion, because I can easily win the game from them. This guy is tough and gives spell damage. I still don't have any damaging spells, so I don't care about him. This guy is okay. He's actually not a great size for 2 mana, but at 2 mana, your standards are a little bit lower. And of course, when he dies, I get to draw a card, which makes him very valuable, actually. This guy has same stats for 1 mana, and he starts out stealth, so he's much harder for your opponent to get rid of before he can attack. I think I'm going to go with the drawing a card. Why not? Could get a 2/4 Tentacle with Taunt, a bigger stealth minion, or a just regular Murloc guy who 3/2 for 2. What do I have in the 2 mana? It's iffy. I have a couple of 3 mana guys. I like to try and spread out my mana costs, because it's really good if you have something you can play every turn that costs all of your mana. You can't guarantee that by any stretch of the imagination, but it's good. This thing seems kind of weak, although as a priest, it's better than with most classes, because it can kill something small, and then I can heal it back up to full, so it can keep killing small things if it lasts. It's actually tempting. Whatever, I'll try him out. He's new, even though he's totally not exciting. I've got hardly any of the new cards, which is going to be annoying. So she's a 2/4 for 4, but she gives you an extra 2/1 when she comes into play, and that 2/1 is a mech. Again, I don't have that many things. You get the same amount of stats for her as you get from him. His stats are all together in one big guy, which is probably better most of the time. He is himself a mech, and his Death Rattle gives me a spare part, which is a little sort of weak card at random. There are a few different ones, and depending on the circumstances, they can be really good. He also gives one to my opponent. I hate giving stuff to my opponent, but he's okay. This guy is a little expensive, but if I have another minion in play when he dies, he gives it a huge bonus. So he's interesting. You know what? I have a lot of 4-cost guys already. I'm going to take him, even though it's not that much better. So it can take this guy. He's very expensive. He is actually quite a boring 10 mana minion. Like for 10 mana, you in constructed decks, in like non-arena formats, you want a hell of a lot better thing than him, because you could get a 10/10 with a great ability if it was legendary or something. For the arena, it's almost tempting to pick him, because I don't have anything else bigger than this guy at 6/6. That's tempting. On the other, this guy is interesting, because he starts out, his cost is way too high, except at the start of every turn that he's in my hand, his cost goes down. If I start with him in my hand, then I can play him turn 3. Like, he'd be 3 mana by that point, and a 4/4 is big for 3 mana. If he stays in my hand longer than that, then he's super cheap. So he's very interesting. I think I'm just going to take the big Cthulhu Behemoth here, because I don't have anything that big. I might as well have a big play. 4/5 for 5. That's a little bit expensive, but it heals 5 to something, me or something else when it comes into play. That's pretty good. This guy's small, and when he dies, he gives a random friendly minion +1/+1. I don't like that. It's unreliable. You know what? I'm going to take another big guy. He's a 6/10 for 8. Not the greatest, but he's okay. I love this card, except that it's bad. It's called Power Word Tentacles. How can you not love a card, like a spell, Power Word Tentacles? It gives a minion +2/+6, which makes the minion very big, but at 5 mana, it's just way too expensive for something that just buffs a minion. If it gives a minion +6/+6, then this would be an insanely good card. Probably too good, but yeah, at +2 attack, yeah, that's a lot of hit points, but it's just not worth it. On the other hand, I hate you, and I hate you. This is 5/4, it just heals 4 health to me when it comes into play. I hate these cards so much, I'm going to take this, also because it's new. This is a bad card, though. It's not a good pick. If I had a better choice, I would not take it. Alarmobot's pretty random. At the start, you put him into play for 3 mana. If your opponent doesn't kill him, then at the start of your turn, if there are any minions in your hand, he will return to your hand and put that minion into play. Now, when you first play a minion, it can't attack that turn. That does apply to minions that come into play from him, so it's actually not that great. Even though I could play him turn 3, and then at the beginning of turn 4, my Faceless Behemoth could pop out. Which would be pretty impressive. But no, I'm going to take the Pyromancer. He's a 3/2, and if I cast a spell with him in play, he deals 1 damage to all minions, including himself. He usually kills himself somehow. But he can be good. Your opponent could have a lot of minions with 1 hit point, and I could blow them all up by playing Power Word Tentacles on something. Oh, Power Word Tentacles on him would make him tough. Okay, into the game. I'm not that confident in this deck, but I have I have a lot of Holy Champions, actually. Holy Champions are death machines. I have a couple Northstar Clerics and that Loot Hoarder that can draw me cards, so I don't know, maybe it'll work out. I feel like the Priest has an advantage in the arena. In Constructed, all the different classes have, their advantages and stuff like that, but I find in the arena, when people's average card quality is lower and usually you don't have like a good, well-designed deck by any stretch of the imagination, just picking minions that have a good number of hit points and being able to heal them and keep them alive with the Priest is fairly effective. Much better than it is in a normal game. So at the start of the game, you have 3 cards if you're going first, 4 if you're going second. You can choose any number of them to trade in and get random other cards. Because I'm going second, I'm going to have 4 cards. I am going to keep this. I'm going to pitch this one. I like to get things I can cast early in the game. He's going to take a while, and especially if I'm keeping this, I don't want another 5-cost card in my starting hand, which I got, and it's not even a good one. Now, the Mage's ability, she can pay 2 mana and just do 1 damage to any minion, which bodes poorly for, say, this guy. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my coin. When you go second, you have an extra card, and you get the coin, which is 1 extra mana once. It does count as a spell, which matters for some things. But I'm just going to play this guy. Because he has 3 attack, this thing has 3 hit points. So he will kill it. Now, this thing actually gets +1 attack whenever my opponent casts a spell, or she can just shoot him and then trade. But she spent her whole turn shooting him, so I'm not really against that. Now, I'm going to play this guy. She could literally just spend her turn shooting him. That's the problem with playing 1 hit point minions. There are 3 classes that have an ability that does a point of damage in different ways. Hers is the best for that. Ah! Wow, she played random guy, and he not only killed my minion, he only did damage to me. So he was a very good value for her, and that sucks. I'm just going to play the Argent Squire, which isn't going to do very well. And I'm going to heal myself for 2. Just click there. See, I'm back up to full. You can't heal above 30 hit points. You can get armor, which is basically like hit points, but can go above your healing cap. I'm not going to, though. So she's going to use her ability to shoot off that bubble. Because remember, that bubble, that's a divine shield. If she attacked with this guy first, he would have done 3 damage. The bubble would have eaten it all. And then she still could have shot him. So in that case, it didn't matter. But often it does. I have nothing good to do. This guy is so bad if you don't have other minions to buff. It's not even worth casting him on his own. I can't even heal because I can't heal myself over that. I can still try. It just doesn't work. I could have healed that guy for 1, but that's not helping me. So I'm just going to sit around and hope she plays something else that I can use the Shadow Madness and make them kill each other, basically.
I was right all along.
Ooh. That's really bad. Because that guy is going to... His attack's going to go up to 7. It just stays at 7. It doesn't grow by 7 every turn. But if he lives 1 turn, he's going to go up to 7. There's nothing I can do about it right now. That is really unfortunate timing. I could play this guy, but then he'll kill it, and I won't get anything for it. I could steal the 3-1 with this and have him attack the other guy, but since this guy has no attack right now, even the small one won't die, so that's of no value. I am going to sacrifice this guy. I'm going to play him. If my opponent's really smart, she'll shoot him for 1 and then kill him with her smaller guy and keep her 7/7 at full health. That's what she's going to do. If she had attacked this guy with the big one, so both her guys would survive, this guy would take his 4 damage, and then I could have done the stealing thing and like have them kill each other. Okay, it's going to get really bad. I can steal the 3/5 and use him to hit the other guy, but I'm still taking a beating. Not much I can do about that. I could put this guy out first, and then when I cast this, it would do 1 damage to everything, but then she could just shoot him with her 1 damage ability, so that's not... I'll have to play him after.
So, here's where you're wrong.
I am in severe trouble, though. That guy came at a very good time for her. I wasn't ready. If I had any guys alive, I could have at least done a bunch of damage to him first, and then it wouldn't be so hard to finish him off. But, yeah, this is bad. Now, based on what she has in play, she doesn't have enough to kill him. Or she could kill him with this guy, but then he'd be down to 1 hit point, and she'd miss out on doing 7 damage to me. So I don't think she wants to. She could shoot him for 1 with her ability, but that's not enough. She needs something from her hand. That will almost certainly do it. That does 3 damage randomly distributed. It didn't finish him off, but it got him low enough that she could do her thing, and now she's got 4 mana to do whatever she wants while this guy beats my face. She's going to spend it to draw 2 cards, which is a good use of time since I'm not doing anything to stop her. I'm doing horribly, just so you know. I'd like to get out something bigger. I'd like to use this to draw cards, but I can't. Okay, this is going to be weird, and I'm going to mostly just die. I play these 2 guys, and I'm going to play him between to give them both stealth. I mean, give them both taunt and a bonus. That doesn't make either of them big enough, and there's a weird thing you don't see very often. If a stealth minion has taunt for some reason, the taunt doesn't work. Until this guy loses stealth, he can't actually taunt. So my opponent can attack this, and then if she played a minion that could attack right away, she could just ignore this guy and attack me directly. More likely, mages have a spell called Flame Strike. It costs 7 mana. It just does 4 damage to all enemy minions. That would have brutalized me. She's going to brutalize me anyway, because she has all kinds of good stuff out there, and I got just about nothing. So I can trade this guy to kill him now, which is good. I can play him soon, but not soon enough. Oh, this guy doesn't have taunt. Never mind. No, he actually kind of sucks. I thought he was another guy. When I picked him, I was paying more attention. It still made sense at the time, but yeah. Not good. So, okay, this guy has got to kill that. Get rid of him, because he'd finally taken enough damage from killing my other guys. Then, I think I'm going to cast Power Word Tentacles on this guy, which makes him big enough to kill the 5/5. Actually gives him a lot of defense. Look at that power word, technically special effect. Then I'm going to attack him. So I lose stealth, because it's actually when you do damage. That's the trigger for losing stealth. Of course, 0 attack minions aren't allowed to attack anyway. But now that I've done that, he's there. I could heal myself, or I can heal him. I'm going to gamble that my opponent's not going to kill me right away, and keeping him alive is my best chance at this point. Of course, being a mage, they have a lot of spells that do damage. She could quite possibly just burn me down, like cast 2 fireballs and kill me. Or there's a 10 cost spell that does 10 damage. Next turn she could do that. It's an epic card, so there's much less chance that she has it. But she can still have it. You can get any card in the arena. It's just if it's really rare, you're less likely to have that card. Okay, so I can now gain... If I put this out, I draw a card from healing a friendly minion. I wouldn't draw a card from healing myself. I had her out first. But, okay, so now... Unfortunately, this guy is giving my opponent cards whenever I kill one of her minions. I can't do anything about that. I've got to do what I can to survive. I'm going to play this guy because he's fairly big, and I can give this another 3 hit points. So its hit point number is red because it's still below its maximum hit points. I could actually heal it more if I had the mana. For now, we're going to kill that. Well, I can't heal it more this turn because you can only use the ability once per turn, but he can be healed more, even past 9 hit points. It doesn't give you the total, but he's got 3 plus 1, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13 is his maximum hit points, so he can go really high. Of course, he's going to die. And of course, he's going to hit me, and I'm super low. So she's going to, if she can't kill me this turn, I am going to die soon. I don't see any way to prevent that at this point. I'm going to beat down some of those guys. Oh, I'm not even going to beat down some of those guys. She's going to play Mirror Image, which just gives her 2 little crappy guys, but they do have Taunt. And that's going to thwart me pretty good. Okay, if I steal one of those, can I survive? Because that would block one enemy attack, which might help me live. Then I could kill one of them, and then this is not... She's not big enough to kill one of them. He would have to be wasted killing one of them, and then she's not big enough to kill the things that are actually going to do enough damage to matter. So I don't think that's going to help that much. The other choice is I could steal this guy just because he's a really good target to steal. And then I kill one of them, and then I get hit right now. It's too much. There's no way I can survive this. I have to heal myself to even remotely have a chance. I'll just do what I can. I guess I'll steal him. Why not? I'll pretend the game is going to last longer, even though it's not. Long term, that would be pretty good. Oh yeah, my opponent would have drawn 1 less card if I stole one of those too. But I didn't have enough damage to kill him, which is what I really wanted to, because he has a good attack value, and he has such a brutal ability. No, I'm just dead. She has 8 damage in place, she doesn't even need her 10 mana and all those cards. That game went really badly. She got that... I had nothing on the board, like she was keeping my board clear, and she got that huge guy, the guy who was huge for the casting cost, at the time when I couldn't take advantage of his initial weakness. And he just pretty much took the game for her, so that was pretty rough. We'll have to see if I can do a little bit better next time, and I will stop explaining quite so much, but I do like to explain my logic every turn. So once you have a grasp of the game, you can get a feeling for why I'm doing things, and maybe I'll be wrong. I make lots of mistakes, even after 190 arena match runs, whatever, but I make lots of mistakes, but you can learn from my mistakes, and, sometimes I'll do something clever, and that's cool too. So, we'll see if there's any of that next time. If you found that useful or entertaining, or if you enjoy cookies, hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to Demonac Games for more Hearthstone Arena and other gaming videos.